Listen to your heart.
Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX. Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Good morning everyone. What's happening, beautiful people? How are you guys doing? Welcome to our new daily live stream. This beautiful Wednesday, 12th of May, 2021. Good morning everyone. We're looking at the charts after the European markets open, which happened about 2 hours ago, over 2 hours ago. And today we saw the European stock markets trading higher, with the FTSE 100 outperforming after better than expected UK growth data, although moves are limited ahead of the key US inflation data to be announced later on today. Lots of things happening in the economic calendar, guys. Seems to be a very busy day. We're looking at the DAX 30 futures in the left-hand side. We can see we're looking at it on a 15-minute chart. Okay, so every candlestick, green or red, represents 15 minutes. We saw a positive opening today, indeed, followed by a bit of a pullback for about half an hour. And as we look at the charts right now, we can see the DAX 30 futures pushing higher, racing to test that 200 moving average at 15,169 from what I see here. 15,155 is the current market price, 154, and we can see the DAX price going up sharply. So we're gonna see a retest very likely of that 200 moving average, and then we take it from there. If the candlesticks manage to close above the red line and consolidate there. And if you look at the charts in the right hand side, guys, we're looking at the CAC 40 futures in France, which look very, very similar movement wise with the DAX futures. Again, we saw a positive open today for the CAC 40 futures. 6,264.50 cents is the current market price. We can see the price settling above the 50 moving average, yet trying to get to that 200 moving average towards the 6,290.7. Yeah, we're looking at RSI not giving us too much hope. It's not pointing upwards anymore, it's pointing sideways, the relative strength index. We see the stochastic at the bottom pointing upwards though, so considering we're very, very close to that 200 moving average, I think we should see, I think we will see a bit of positivity, a bit of a push basically to push the price to retest that 200 MA. I'm gonna come back in a few minutes, guys, with the headlines of the day. We're gonna have a quick look at the charts and see what's expected to happen today, before the US markets open and after. And very, very soon I'm gonna start doing some live trading. But meanwhile, if you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything, type your questions. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're feeling. Let me know what your questions are. And that's why I'm here. I'm going to do my best to help. So I'm going to come back live in a few minutes. We're going to do a bit of chart analysis. We're going to look at some very interesting headlines. and we take it from there. Right. Good morning, beautiful people. Good morning on this beautiful Wednesday, 12th of May, 2021. Let me know how you're doing, guys. Type your questions if you have any questions. Let me know how your day is, how your trading is going. We saw a positive opening this morning on the DAX futures and the CAC 40 futures in France. But there is another issue that's pressing a part of the world, let's say. And I'm gonna share that news with you in just a second.
Go interactive with X-Ray, where we bring trading experts to you live in the platform. Choose sessions, watch live market analysis, and catch up on your favorite market insights anytime. Ask questions and go one-to-one with leading experts on gold, oil, FX, crypto, indices, and equities. X-Ray, your very own analysis team, right at your fingertips. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Right, lovely people, we start the day with the sad news. Israel declares emergency in the city called Lod as unrest spreads. I don't know how many of you saw on the news. Israel is going through a very, very hard time, very difficult time, as apparently in the last 48 hours there's been a missile attack in Israel, killing many people. We're talking about over 130 missiles that were shot over Israel. We saw buildings collapsing. We saw people dying. So I'm gonna read you the story real quick and you can decide what's going on. If you have any questions, you can type your questions. Basically, Israel has declared the state of emergency in the central city of Lod after rioting by Israeli Arabs as conflict between Israeli forces and Palestinian militants intensified. Cars were set alight and the father and daughter, both Israeli Arabs, died when a rocket from Gaza hit their car. Palestinian militants fired hundreds of rockets deep into Israel while Israel carried out heavy airstrikes on Gaza. At least 40 people have died in some of the worst violence in years. And it's very curious what's happening, people, because only a couple of months ago, the entire world was struggling to contain the COVID-19 virus, which took many, many lives. And not even 2 months later, we see more people dying. We see bombings. We see rockets being fired. Something is not right. Israel's military says it is targeting militants in Gaza in response to rocket attacks on Jerusalem and other areas. And the very worrying thing, people, is that the rockets were shot downtown Jerusalem, where people usually go to visit. Yeah, so the risk, when that happens, the risk of casualties, the risk of collateral damage is huge, is great. And this shouldn't be happening when we're talking about innocent people. Yeah, we're talking about tourists visiting the holy country. And what do they get in return? Bombs. This is not up to me to decide, but doesn't sound right. Moving on with the article, more than 1,000 rockets have been fired towards central and southern Israel by Palestinian militants since Monday evening, when hostilities suddenly escalated, the Israeli army said. The Palestinian militants said they targeted the Israeli city of Tel Aviv after an Israeli airstrike demolished a tower block in the Gaza Strip on Tuesday. A second tower block collapsed in the territory after another Israeli strike. Residents were warned to evacuate the 12-story tower. However, health officials say there were still civilian deaths. More than 200 rockets were fired at Tel Aviv and Beersheba after the tower attack, Palestinian militants said. Horrible what's going on, people. Horrible, horrible what's going on. Let me know what you think about the situation in Israel, guys. Let me know what you think about the global situation. Less than a couple of months after the entire world economies were almost on the edge of crashing, when this COVID-19 virus took thousands, millions of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives. Do we need more deaths in the world? This is the question. And this news is provided by BBC.com, guys. Right, let's move on to happier things. What do you say? Let's have a quick look at some charts, guys. Let's see what's happening with the most traded assets today. Are you with me? All right. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what happened yesterday. Let's see what's happening today after the European markets open, as we have a big day in the economic calendar. And actually, I would like to start with the economic calendar for today, people. Let's have a quick look. So we started the day nice and early with lots of announcements being released at 9 o'clock GMT plus 3. The announcements came out from the Great Britain, from Germany, from France, from the Eurozone. We saw announcements from China. And exactly half an hour ago, we had the industrial production announced in the Eurozone, which came out almost depressing, 0.1% versus an expectation of 0.7%. We're going to have a break in the economic calendar until 3:30 today, when the avalanche starts. A lot of announcements, as you can see in the economic calendar. Let me zoom in a bit. There we go. Tons of announcements will be released at 3:30 GMT plus 3, just 1 hour ahead of the US markets open. We're going to have the core consumer price index on the US dollar for April and year over year as well. We're going to have the FOMC member Clarida holding a press conference at 1600 hours GMT plus 3, and at 5:30, guys, like every Wednesday, we're going to have the crude oil inventories along with the Cushing crude oil inventories. Analysts are expecting a draw of 2.817 million barrels this week. At 2000 hours, we're going to have the 10-year note auction, which will definitely cause a bit of volatility on the market. Followed by a press conference from two FOMC members. And at 2100 hours, we're going to have the federal budget balance for April, which is expected to come down to a negative 220 billion on the dot. Busy day in the economic calendar today, lovely people. Now, let's have a look at some charts, guys. Let's have a look at some charts. Quick look at the earnings calendar for today. Not a lot of companies are announcing. We have Coca-Cola, HBC AG announcing first quarter revenue. We have Apartment Invest. We have Emera Incorporated. We have Varian, Legal & General, and Compass. This is it. Tomorrow, though, we're going to have Walt Disney reporting. So if you want to play the earnings game, we're going to have Walt Disney tomorrow. We're going to have the BT Group. So if you want to trade this event, you have to position yourself on the markets ahead of the markets close. So if BT Group or Walt Disney will announce their figures tomorrow before the US markets open, then traders should place themselves on the markets today. Let's have a look at some charts, guys. Let's see how the markets opened today and what's happening with the most traded assets in the world. I'm going to start with crude oil WTI, guys, on a 15-minute chart. We saw crude oil WTI gaining yesterday. 63.94 was the price yesterday. And we see crude oil WTI trading higher overnight, and currently now it's trading at 65.54 with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards. But the good news is the price action moved above the 200 moving average. There's plenty of support for crude oil WTI from that 200 moving average. And if we look at the charts on a 1 hour chart, things become a bit clearer right now. So what's expected to happen for crude oil WTI? We're going to have a look at some signals in a minute, but looking at it from the technical point of view, seeing the RSI and the stochastic pointing downwards and turning around from the overbought levels, seeing the price action moving above both moving averages, and looking at the candlesticks dropping right now, the best guess right now might be that we're going to see a retest of that 50 moving average or the 200 MA. And then if the fundamentals remain strong, remain healthy, probably we're going to see the price bouncing from those colored lines and pushing higher. But today is a very important day for crude oil and Brent oil, as we have the crude oil inventories to be announced at 5:30 GMT plus 2, 1 hour into the US trading session. Markets tend to be a bit funny when that happens. Now, let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the Euro US dollar, guys. The mighty Euro, the most traded currency pair in the world. Euro USD on a 60-minute chart. 121.27 today. RSI pointing downwards, not making it into the overbought levels, highlighting a downtrend. RSI turning around from the 34% level, again, highlighting an uptrend. Looking towards the right-hand side, we can see that the euro is creating lower lows and lower highs. That would normally translate into a downtrend. Especially if we look at the top, guys, and we see this candlestick formation up there. We saw that the euro did not have the power to trade higher, to trade above 121.75. So, this being said, we're looking at this 200 moving average at 121 flat. We see the red candlestick opening. It is very possible, it is plausible to see a retest of that 200 MA. And if that happens, guys, keep your fingers on the triggers. We're moving on to the cable, guys. GBP USD currency pairs. 141.27 for the pound today. Once again, very similar movement to the euros. Okay, we saw a few trading sessions ago something that looks like a double top, but not really. But we definitely saw the price did not have enough power to trade above 141.67. And it created a lower high. Again, the price is well supported by the 50 MA. We see a red candlestick opening. Okay, so retest of that 50 MA to the downside, or maybe that 200 MA is almost imminent. Looking at the RSI turning around, looking at the stochastic indicator turning around, it makes a lot of sense. Now, obviously, this is not investment advice, guys. It's just a bit of chart analysis. We're gonna have a look at some trading signals from reliable sources in a minute, and we're gonna see what do they think about the assets I just described. And then if the technical analysis that I'm showing you matches the trading signals, it means we know what we're doing. Let's move on to USD JPY for now. 108.76 for USD JPY. We see a sharp rejection from that 200 moving average. And you see how important it is to have that 200 moving average on the chart, guys. The price seems to be attracted and rejected to that 200 moving average many times. USD JPY 108.76, RSI very undecided, stochastic is pointing downwards. The price fell below the 200 moving average. Usually that implies a downtrend. And if I were to take a wild guess, I'll be aiming for this support level at 108.50. And I'd say it's very possible to see the USD JPY continuing the downtrend and retesting the lows. Does this make sense to anyone? Let me know what you think. Right, let's move on. Let's see what's gonna happen. Aussie dollar versus the US dollar, just like the euro and the pound. A bit of weakness is noticed today on the Aussie dollar. 0.7802 as we speak. Very close to that 200 MA to the downside. RSI indicating a downtrend. Stochastic pointing downwards. Makes sense for a bit of weakness for the Aussie dollar. Yeah, for the euro and the pound as well, as these three currencies tend to move in the same direction versus the US dollar. Let's move on now. Let's have a quick look at USD CAD. 120.92 for USD CAD. We saw a fake breakout, let's call it, followed by a drop, and now again we might see a retest of that 50 MA. We see a green candlestick opening in the last hour or so, and we can also tell that the price did not really have enough power to drop below 120.78. Okay, we're on an hourly chart, on a 60-minute chart. Therefore, every green or red candlestick represents 60 minutes. If you count the candlesticks, you can see that for quite a few days now, the USD did not have the power to drop below 120.78. Will this happen today? Stay with me and find out. Let's have a quick look at the giant S&P 500, guys, which closed the day in red yesterday. This is how yesterday's session moved, basically. 4,152.10 is the closing price yesterday. And looking at the Dow Jones, very similar movement to the S&P 500s. We see a negative opening. We saw the price pushing lower. And then we saw a lot of uncertainty on the markets. $34,270.61 is the closing price for the Dow Jones Industrial Average yesterday. We're moving on. We're looking at Apple, which even though it opened to the downside yesterday, it advanced, it gained a bit on the US trading session. 125.91 was the closing price for Apple yesterday. Amazon opened to the downside, moved a bit higher throughout the US trading session, closing at 3,223.91. Nvidia, same movement for Nvidia. Negative opening, followed by a small correction. Big gains there. Big gains, to be honest. If you manage to catch this movement, big gains are expected. Now, let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the US dollar index futures. Again, on a 60-minute chart. Let's have a look at the bigger picture, guys, and see what's happening. 90,252 for the US dollar index today. We see a teacup shape after a sharp drop. We saw a retest to that 50 MA. We see the candlesticks consolidating very close to that 50 MA, even though we have a bit of rejection from the 50 MA. If you look carefully, you're going to see those two spikes on the last two candlesticks. That is called a rejection. Let's see if the candlesticks manage to close above the 50 MA. And if that's the case, then probably we can go for a correction to the 200 MA. Let's have a quick look at gold futures. $1,834 for gold. Gold has been ranging for quite some time now. Looking at it on an hourly chart, yeah, we can see gold ranging since the 7th of May. Almost a week now, when gold is ranging between 1824. Yeah, and the absolute top was 1845, which was reached on the 10th of May, 2 days ago. Since then, nothing is really happening. If anything, we can see gold price dropping sharply. The good news is the candlesticks, look at this, the candlesticks consolidate above the 50 MA. So if we're gonna see the price trading above 1835, 1837, then gold price might shoot up. It all has to do with the US dollar. Silver, very similar movement to gold's. $27, 515 today. Again, silver is trading at its highs. We saw a nice breakout happening on the 5th of May. We saw a push all the way up to the 28.01 level. And since then, silver is trading somewhere in the 27.50, close to 28. The price is well supported by the 200 moving average to the downside. So we might see a retest at 27.13. We're going to get to the trading signals in a minute, and they will give us more and more information. Quick look at Tesla. We saw Tesla opening to the downside yesterday. It went all the way down to $597. And finally, just before closing, it gained a few dollars, closing eventually at 617. We're looking at the RSI and the stochastic very close to the oversold levels. We see the last candlestick at closing was red. So today at the US markets open, we might see a big boom when the markets open, because all the orders that are left from yesterday will probably be executed as soon as the markets open, right? And on top of that, you're going to have the newcomers adding to those positions. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, guys. Everyone's favorite, $57,183 for Bitcoin. Bitcoin gained since yesterday, since Monday basically. Monday, Bitcoin was trading at 54,576. It's trading almost 2,000 higher. Right now, we can see the candlesticks consolidating above that 200 moving average, just in case technical analysis makes any sense on cryptocurrencies. It works sometimes. We're looking at the candlestick formation consolidating. We're looking at green candlestick that's waiting for a catalyst. It's waiting for something to push higher. We're looking at the RSI pointing upwards from the 50% mark, which usually indicates an uptrend. And we're looking at stochastic looking to turn around as well from the 52% mark. So we might see Bitcoin shooting up once again, guys. And now the absolute champion, guys. Ethereum is trading even higher today, $4,308.22 for Ethereum. Unbelievable performance for this coin. Unbelievable. Now let's have a look at some trading signal, guys, provided by investing.com. Let's see what's happening. There we go. So, the pound standing tall today with 4 strong buy indications on all 4 time frames. The euro is a bit undecided. A shy buy on a 5-minute chart. No, they all turned into green. So the euro and the pound look set to strengthen versus the US dollar. And if the euro and the pound are strengthening versus the US dollar, people, then the US dollar is weakening. USD JPY, strong sell indications. USD CHF, strong sell indications, at least until the US markets open. The Aussie dollar is indicating a strong buy on a 5-minute chart, followed by a strong buy on a daily chart, and a bit of uncertainty somewhere in between. But if you bear in mind, the Aussie dollar, the pound, and the euro tend to move in the same direction, it might be worth looking at it. Moving on, we're looking at 4 sell and strong sell indications for the USD CAD. Just like the USD CHF and the USD JPY, the US dollar, guys, is weakening so far. And as we get towards the bottom of the charts, we're looking at euro weakening versus the Swiss franc, and the pound supposedly weakening versus the Swiss franc as well. Moving on, we're going to look at some commodities now. We see a strong buy indication on all 4 time frames for gold. We see a strong buy indication on a 5-minute and a daily chart for silver as well. Usually gold and silver tend to move together. So when the US dollar goes down, gold and silver tend to go up. We're looking at copper with 2 strong sell indications on small time frames, and we're looking at crude oil, WTI, and Brent oil with buy and strong buy indications. Natural gas, strong sell with the day remaining a strong buy. And US wheat, guys, seems to be correcting after the rally it had yesterday with 2 strong sell indications on a 5-minute and a 15-minute chart, but with the daily remaining a strong buy. And we're back with some lovely charts, some lovely assets that we like to watch. We have gold futures in the right-hand side on a 15-minute chart, which is pushing higher right now, 1834.80 for gold futures. And in the left-hand side, we have the crude oil WTI on a 15-minute chart. Crude oil is very undecided today, and there's a lot of pressure on oil as we have the crude oil inventories that will be announced in 4.5 hours from now. We're going to come back with some more market updates in a few minutes. And we're going to go live once again with the daily show that we have every day between 3 and 5 o'clock, GMT plus 3. So stay tuned. Good afternoon once again, beautiful people. Welcome to our live stream. We're looking at a very impressive rally from crude oil WTI in the left-hand side of the charts, 66.05, a few hours ahead of the crude oil inventories that will be announced today. Gold futures, on the other hand, are taking a breather, $1,835.35 for an ounce of gold today. Quick look at the economic calendar once again, guys, and you can see the economic calendar is absolutely packed with announcements coming out from the United States this afternoon, starting 3:30 GMT plus 3. We're gonna have the core CPI being announced. We're gonna have the consumer price index. We're gonna have the FOMC member Clarida holding a press conference just an hour and a half ahead of the crude oil inventories and the Cushing crude oil inventories. Again, a draw of 2,817 is expected. Let's see what's going to happen. Previously today we had the industrial production announced in the Eurozone, which came out disappointing at 0.1% versus an expectation of 0.7%. Let's have a quick look at the charts, guys, and let's see what is happening with the most traded assets today, Wednesday, 12th of May, 2021. I'm going to start with crude oil WTI on a 15-minute chart. We can see crude oil WTI pushing higher today after it got rejected by that 250 moving average overnight. Let's see what's going to happen when the data comes out for the crude oil inventories. Will crude oil WTI push even higher, aiming for the $68 mark, or will it come down and retest the 200 moving average? Moving on, we're looking at the euro versus the US dollar, guys. The euro that was strengthening a couple of days ago, and that today is tumbling, 121.32 for the euro, with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards. Movement to the upside since the European markets opened today, but the disappointing... where is it? Right, the disappointing industrial production that came out at 0.1% sent the euro to the downside. Moving on, we're looking at the pound, guys, which is froze for a few trading sessions. Sorry, if you look from left to right, guys, we can see at the top of the chart the price ranging for quite some time. The RSI is pointing downwards for the pound versus the US dollar, so is the stochastic, 141.31. A retest of that 200 moving average to the downside is probably expected today at 141.11. Only 20 basis points from where we are now. Let's move on. Let's have a look at USD JPY, guys. USD JPY, which is trading lower since the European markets opened today, 108.72 for USD JPY. There we go. We can see the volatility is there. Let me decrease the time frame to a 5-minute chart so you can have a better view of what's happening when the asset is weakening. 108.71 and dropping with the RSI stochastic pointing downwards. We see a dead cross was formed there between the 200 and the 50 MA. We're gonna have a look at the trading signals once again and see what is happening. But if you look at it from the technical point of view, guys, things become a bit clearer. We're only gonna highlight the support resistance levels, average highs from left to right, and average lows. And what do we see? We see a pattern happening. Yeah, between the 108.40 and the 108.95. This is what's happening. So this is the pattern. To make your life even easier, you can add the center line. Yeah, the 50% level is always very, very important for an uptrend, for a downtrend, and for a ranging market. If this level will be broken to the downside, what do you think is the most plausible direction? What do you think is the most plausible scenario for this currency pair? A retest of this support level to the downside at 108.45. Make sense? The dollar is weakening. Let's move on. Let's have a quick look at the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar encounters a bit of resistance from that 50 moving average, which you can see there. 0.7806 for the Aussie dollar today, with the RSI not making it into the overbought levels, indicating a potential downtrend. We saw that rejection from the 50 MA. Very curious what's going to happen very, very soon. Moving on, USD CAD on the other hand seems to be pushing higher. 120.85 for the USD CAD, with the RSI and stochastic at their lows pointing upwards. What's worth noting is that the USD CAD pair did not manage to fall below the 127.7 level. So we might see a retest of either one of the two moving averages, or why not a reversal of the trend. Once again, we're looking at the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones closing the day in red yesterday, way below the opening price. There's the S&P 500, there's the Dow Jones. Very poor trading session for both of them yesterday. There was the open, we can see the open, we can see the sharp drop, and the markets did not manage to recover. Another interesting asset to have a look at is the US dollar index, guys, which basically represents the strength of the US dollar against 6 other major currencies. 90.280 for the US dollar index, with the RSI and stochastic pointing upwards. We currently see a retest of that 200 moving average. That green candlestick in the right hand side is flirting with the red line. Who's gonna win? And if we see the candlesticks consolidating and closing above the line, then we might want to go in with a buy position, as we expect a correction after the sharp drop. There's the sharp drop, there's the teacup shape, there's the price action. The price seems to be turning around. Let's hope it's going to settle above the 200 MA, giving us a reason to buy. Gold futures, $1,834.30 for gold futures. Gold seems to be turning around, seems to be pointing to the downside, with the RSI and the stochastic both turning around, and with the US dollar index strengthening. I think the negative correlation is clear now, lovely people, as the dollar is trying to settle above the 200 moving average. gold futures are trying to set below. Very interesting trading day, but a lot of things will happen starting from 3 o'clock, 3:30, when the cascade of data coming from the US will be released. Moving on, we're looking at Brent oil futures, or the European oil, $69.30, after an impressive rally in the last hour or so. Crude oil and Brent oil seem to be strengthening today. And looking at the charts, I'm sure in times like this, traders will set their first take profit levels to the upside around the 69.83 mark. Let's see how the crude oil inventories will come out. That's going to be the catalyst. Crude oil is waiting, as well as Brent. Moving on, we're looking at silver futures, again on a 15-minute chart. Silver futures that are struggling to go above the 200 moving average, 27,500 for the silver futures, with the RSI turning around. Stochastic turning around. There's more potential to the downside than to the upside. Let's see, we're going to check the trading signals in a minute. Quick look at Bitcoin, which is dropping. $56,161, a drop of over $1,000 in a couple of hours for Bitcoin. Lower highs and lower lows is what we see from the Bitcoin charts. Let's move on to Ethereum now, the last but not the least. See what's happening with Ethereum. $4,241.91 on the Bitbox exchange. We see Ethereum giving back little gains after retesting that 50 MA. Will it go even lower? Will it rally again? Is this the good time to buy Ethereum, guys? That is the question. And remember, guys, if you have any questions, if you're struggling with anything, if you're looking to learn about investments, financial markets, and online trading, all you have to do is type your questions. That's why we're here. Now let's have a quick look at some trading signals provided by investing.com. Let's see what they think is happening with commodities today. Neutral for gold and silver on a 5-minute chart. The daily remains a strong buy for both. But what's happening now? Are we buying? Are we selling? We need to allow the markets to breathe a bit. That's why we have that 200 moving average on the charts. Where it is. There it is. Okay, that's why we have that 200 moving average. As soon as the price manages to get further from there, we can probably predict a direction. But as long as the price stays attached to the 200 moving average, it's going to make our life a bit more difficult. So, beginner traders, what can you do in times like this? Allow the markets to breathe. Copper seems stuck in two strong sell indications on 5-minute and 15-minute charts, while crude oil, WTI and Brent oil have 4 strong buy indications all over the board. Natural gas is surprising us today with 3 strong sell indications, with the daily remaining a strong buy. And US wheat is neutral, probably correcting after the rally it saw yesterday. Now let's have a look at some currency pairs, guys. Let's see how the currency pairs are doing today. What's good to buy, what's good to sell, and what should we be waiting for? Three strong sell indications for the euro as things stand right now, with the daily remaining a strong buy. The pound is very undecided. We see the signals changing as we speak. Probably more selling power than buying power on the pound. We're looking at USD JPY with three strong sell indications. We're looking at the Aussie dollar with three sell and strong sell indications, but with the daily remaining a strong buy. We see the euro weakening versus the pound with four strong sell indications. Four of a kind is what we like to see. Euro JPY strong sell. Euro CHF strong sell. And at the bottom, at the very bottom, we have the pound trying to strengthen versus the Swiss franc. Now let's have a look at the exotics, guys. Let's have a look at the exotic currency pairs. Sometimes you might get a better indication from the exotics than you get from the majors. A lot of things are happening with the majors every day. So it's worth having a look at the exotics. Remember what a trader cares for when he or she for a strong buy. Might be interesting. Mind you, your returns will be in the currency pair, in the currency situated in the right hand side of the currency pairs. So in this case, if you're trading USD South African Rand or USD Turkish Lira, bear in mind you will be paid in Turkish Lira or South African Rands. That's what your profit is. So maybe you want to allow the market a bit more time to accumulate a bit more points before you close the position. The US dollar versus the Singapore dollar is in a neutral position on a 5-minute chart, but 15 minutes and hourly indicates strong buy, with a daily remaining a strong sell. So long-term positions are very difficult to predict. But the US dollar is strengthening versus the Korean yuan or won. Four strong buy indications. Four strong buy indications versus the Indian rupee as well. And we all know India is confronting the most severe crisis in the COVID-19 pandemic. And finally, we see the Brazilian real strengthening versus the US dollar. We see four sell and strong sell indications on the USD versus the Brazilian real. What good news came from Brazil, guys? Can anyone update me? What's happening in Brazil? Because Brazil was struggling, as just like India a few days ago. And the last but not the least, guys, we see the Russian ruble tumbling with the US dollar strengthening versus the Russian ruble. With the NATO forces practicing in the Black Sea, with the Russian army moving at the Ukrainian border. There's a lot of tension in the area, guys. There's a lot of tension in the area.
Discover how some of the top executives are trading their own companies with our Insider Trades tool. See who's been buying or selling stock and what their trades say about insider sentiment. Use this unique big data tool to make more informed stock trades. That's higher trading from MarketsX.
Right, coming back to the charts, guys, we're looking at USD JPY nosediving as we speak, and we're looking at the Euro nosediving as well. Stay tuned. We're going to be back soon with more news, more alerts, and more trading signals.